Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So from the 8-hour perspective, above and below the moving averages, total confusion, ranging, lack of structure, nothing really working out. We do have a fairly strong area of support here that we're coming to test in amongst the moving averages, oscillators to the downside, diversions brewing. So there's lots of merit for a move back up. What's not in our favor is the fact that the moving averages are so flat. So looking at the 8-hour, there's no clear direction of where we're going. When we move down to the 3-hour, we do have a grouping of the oscillators and a crossover. We're not over the 20 yet, but we're there or thereabouts. And we've got tails to the upside, tails to the downside, big up, big down, big confusion here most of the day yesterday. I'm not entirely convinced short or long on the 3-hour at the moment. I would be sitting on my hands trading the 8-hour and the 3-hour right now. And when we start looking at the 1-hour, we have a potential for a start of a downtrend. So from an intraday perspective, I would like to see a rejection off this zone here. So I'd like to see 39.43 or 39.36 be tested, rejected, for another move down to come and test this 38.93 again. That's kind of the setup that I see on a daily perspective. But when I drill down to the 15 minutes, whenever we start getting into moving averages like this and we start moving in the moving averages and they start coming together, it's always potentially a rounding bottom forming. So going to be a difficult one. If you've got time to be on a really low time frame like a 5 or 3 minute chart, you probably see that you are changing direction already. No, you're not, but everything is consolidating here, and you can see how messy this was yesterday. Look at all the gaps on the 5 minute here. Gap down there, gaps, gaps, gaps. That's always an indication that this is crazy. So this is barbed wire through the session yesterday. Nice and structured during the European session, and then when the US session opens, just total confusion. So far as I'm concerned, we are flat, and if you are going to trade the 5 minute, I would wait for a break of this structure and a retest, moving averages pointing up. Then you're probably heading for this area, 39.36, and at that level I would really switch across to the hour to see what we're going to get there, because that would mean we've probably got an opportunity for a continuation down. If we get through this area and we start moving to the upside, then all bets are off. Then we're probably just going to continue with this bigger up and down all over the place confusion. So that's kind of my view today. I think if you've got time, your 5 minute chart is probably going to give you the direction. 15-minute charts as well, but 50-minute chart you still need to get above. There's another level here. So you'd need to get above this. Well, I suppose that's the high of yesterday, so let's just round that off. Okay, so get up above the high of yesterday, find some structure there, then that would trigger longs on the 15-minute chart. But until then, I'm a little bit reluctant to jump in any direction, and especially reluctant for longs at the moment. More favoring a rejection here for some shorts. There's still this possibility that we drop below here, but again, you'll see that on the 15 minutes pretty quickly. You'll see a drop below the structure, then you'll see a pullback to come and test one of these breaks, so one of these tails here. And when you see that retest and rejection, it's short, stop above it. You're expecting this 15-minute trend to continue. And obviously the converse is true if you start breaking above the structure to the upside. But for me, this is not... it's not looking that exciting. We need to wait for the setup before we get too excited about it. It could be another big move to the downside, or it could just be buyers coming in then trying to push it back up again, and we just have this complete confused setup again. From a daily perspective, you can see we've got to cross over the moving averages, but we haven't got above the 155. So technically we're still in some form of a downtrend. But we do have a lot of chaos here that we're at, so let's see what happens. I don't think there's any change on the weekly, still in between the moving averages, so you should expect This big up, big down confusion. Nothing on the oscillators indicating anything at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see. It could be a rejection of this trend line at the moment, but it could also just be building a base for another attack at it to break through it. And in my opinion, we're going to need to break through this weekly trend line here. This one here. We're going to have to break through it properly and get a weekly close above it before we can even start looking at long-term long. So this is still tightly poised in this triangle here, just mucking around, big up, big down confusion, sort of waiting to see what's going to happen. So anyway, that's kind of what I'll be doing today. We'll be sitting on the sides. Hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.